All right, we're in this 2007 Honda Accord. We're gonna go ahead and change the radio on this. I don't know if you may not know about these Hondas, you can't just get a double din radio and get like a regular cheap install kit and install them, because the HVAC controls are, you got the fan speed, AC, your heat, all the controls are built into the radio. So, or it's all one thing, and it's not easy just to replace the radio itself. You have to replace the HVAC controls with it. And so we're going to go ahead and do that today. This is actually my mom's car, and this company, Eonon, sent me this radio. It's a 10.1 inch screen, and you can see it's got all the HVAC controls in it. And they're actually celebrating their 23rd anniversary this year, so they've been around a long time. But it's Eonon in-car entertainment. It's for Apple and iPhone, and it's pretty easy to get these radios out. This model is the model HAC1X6, model HAC1X6, and this fits all Honda Accords 2003, 2007. So first thing we're gonna do is get this old radio out and go from there. So I went ahead and already got a few things loose on this, because a lot of times when you try to do this one-handed and hold the camera, because I'm by myself right now, it's kind of hard. So this here, you want to pull your console up, the cover over it. And this particular one was pretty tight. So what I did to start out at the bottom with a real thin screwdriver, you can use interior tools. I have a bunch of those, but these were all too thick. It's a really thin area right here. Got underneath here and just kind of pried up on each end real gently, because of course it's plastic and it's going to break if you are too rough with it. This particular car has the seat heaters in it, so we're going to have to disconnect one of them and kind of lay this off to the side, or maybe both, before we can get to that. Because you got to remove this. There's a couple screws we got to get to underneath this to get the ashtray out, and then we're going to pull this piece out and then the radio. So let me disconnect these the seat heater controls real quick, and then we'll slide this out of the way, and I can show you what else we're going to get into here. But yeah, it's not too bad taking these out, so I'll show you the next step. So I went ahead and disconnected both of them just to get that out of the way so we can see it better. It's really easy. Just if you got these connectors, just push on the tab and they come right out. We're trying to get to these two screws right here, so we're going to go ahead and remove these. These, I think all these are Phillips in this car, with these screws we're removing. And like I said, sometimes it can be a little challenging. These are pretty small screws to hold the camera and get them out. Let me put this down, and I'm going to get those out, and then we'll show you the next step. All right, so next thing we got to do is remove the, they say it's not ashtray, but it's an ashtray cover. And you do the same thing with this. You just pry up on it with your screwdriver. I already had mine loose a little bit. And there's two screws inside here. So once you slide that out of the way, there'll be two screws in here. And then I'm pretty sure that should be it. And then this thing should pop out. Might be easier if I get the shifter out of the way. I put it back up. Let me move the shifter out of the way, and then we'll pop this out. All right, when you go to pull this ashtray out, don't pull on too hard. You're going to get it out. You still have your power outlet that's hooked up. And we're just going to set it off to the side. And all that is just this black plug here. And you just press on the tab right here. Well, I got upside down. Right here on the side here. It'll be side up when you pull it out. But you just press on that and it pulls it out. And now we have, I believe, oh no, she's got a bunch of CDs in here. I believe there's two screws. I think there's two more screws in here. Let me pull all these CDs out. I didn't know these were in here, and then we'll pick it back up. All right, so I kind of pulled it out. There's a screw here on the, when you get the ashtray out, you're going to see a screw here and a screw here, both Phillips. And then you have to have this door closed, I think, to get it out, because it has to clear this bottom part here. If it's open, it kind of hangs up on it. But you just kind of give it a tug. It's only two screws in there. Just be careful with it, because like everything else, it's plastic. So we'll just set this off to the side. And then I know we have two screws going upward under here, and then we have three up here on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and pry this open right here a little bit, and then this should pop off, and then we'll set off to the side. There is a hazard light connector to it, but I think we can leave that hooked up and just move it off to the side. and then there's 3 screws in the top if I remember right. So let me pop this off real quick and I'll show you. Just get something real thin and get in between there. Just be careful again because it's plastic. And this car has been a little bit stubborn with getting things popped off. It's, you know, but I mean, that's kind of Honda in general anyway, but their plastic fits pretty tight. So we'll go ahead and pop that off real quick and then we'll look under there. All right, I'm not going to rely. I had a hard time getting this piece out. The middle got hung up. I managed to get it pried out without breaking it, but it was really tough. I don't know. It's just typical with some of these interior pieces. But I did get it out without breaking it. And once you get it kind of pulled up and out of the way, you can just move it over. There's a wire going to the hazard button, but you don't have to disconnect that. We're just looking for these 3 screws right there. And I'll see if I can get those out. And then this thing, we got those 2 on the bottom. Sorry about this, stupid. And we got 2 on the bottom, and then this whole unit should pull out far enough to get the wiring out from behind it. So anyway, we got 2 more of those, and then we'll go on the bottom, and then we'll pull this out. So these 2 on the bottom are kind of facing the wrong way. They're going upwards. So I'm just going to use a short screwdriver like this and get into it. You could probably use a long one too, but there's 1 on each side. They're pretty obvious once you get that console out. So we'll go ahead and remove those, and then we should be able to move this battery or this whole thing out, this radio. All right, once you pull the radio out, and it's going to be a little tough. Like I said, everything's kind of been in here a long time and tight fitting. But once you get those 3 bolts at the top and the 2 at the bottom, they will come out. You gotta take all these connectors off. First thing you're gonna want to do is take these rip these little plastic holders that are hooked to the radio on the steel part. I just took a pair of angle pliers, or you know, if I and pushed it, compressed it, and got them, popped them out. And then you're gonna go through, and you got your radio down here. You got a white and a blue wire or connector has to come out. And then we're gonna make our way up to the top here to the HVAC system. There's a couple up here, the green one. So we're gonna just pull all those out. You just press the tab in the middle and the underneath, and they all pop out. And then we should be able to pull this whole radio out. All right, so you can see here, I went ahead and hooked everything up. It's kind of a mess. There's a lot of wires back there. I can show you on the thing here. This is what they give you to hook it up, and you just kind of match up the numbers to the back of the radio. You got the main power. This one has dual zone AC and heat, so you don't use the green cables that come with it. You can just plug those directly into your HVAC system or into the back of the radio. You don't need the adapter. And then I went ahead, I'm going to run the GPS. I'm not 100% sure. I'll probably run it on top of the dash there. Maybe cut a little notch out of that, out of this piece here, and run the wire up. I'm not sure yet. So that's kind of all up to you on the things you want to do with installing it. But just follow these directions and you can kind of figure it out. The only thing I will note that's a little messed up is the antenna on this radio is right here on this side, and on the factory it's way down over here, you know, down over here, so the antenna wire won't reach over to this without going in. I don't know if I can show you. There's a little tab in here right around there that's hooked to the metal frame, and I had to pull that off to get enough room to get the antenna to fit over here. It's a pretty tight fit, but yeah, you can get it all. If you pull that tab off from the frame on there, on the inside there, you can't get enough room. I don't know if it's an oversight or just the way they had to make it or whatever, but I did kind of plug everything in and make sure it came on and everything. So right now I'm just going to kind of figure out what I'm going to do with the mic and the GPS, and then we'll put it back. I'll bolt it together, and then we'll go ahead and check the radio out. All right, so you can see I got the radio in. I just went ahead and hooked the GPS, just kind of put it in here. I didn't notch this out at all like I thought I might have to. I just made it real short and glued it right there, or taped it right there. I don't know the differences if you want to run it along the dashboard and bring it back up, you're still going to have a wire sticking a little bit. So overall, the installation went pretty good on this radio. Other than the antenna being, the wire being too short for where the antenna is located on the radio itself, it was a pretty good installation. The only thing I'm concerned about a little bit is on your HVAC control, when you put it in different modes and stuff, you know, on a factory radio, it'll show you like where it's blowing the air at and stuff. And I've not been able to find on this particular radio how to do that. If it shows up on this radio, if that's just not an option on these radios, or what the problem is. I'm not saying it's a problem. Well, depends on how you look at it, I guess. But I don't see how you can display the HVAC controls on the actual screen. Like I said, on the factory radio, there's a little guy on each side, little tiny guy, and tells you like where the air is blowing and stuff. I haven't noticed that. I might contact them and find out. Other than that, it's your standard Android radio. It's pretty nice. It's got a big screen on it, 10.1 inch, I think. It's a lot bigger than a double den screen, so that's a big advantage. And it has all the same options. You know, you can do your regular radio, like your local stations, or you can connect to your phone. I'm still kind of playing around with everything. This is the GPS screen. This is actually hooked to my, I think it's hooked to my phone, or it was. But I'll turn it off here and kind of show you. Okay, this time it didn't reset. Usually it kind of resets and it does this little thing. Let me see. But overall, like I said, it's a pretty seamless installation. If you follow the directions for the wiring and all that stuff, it's not too bad. And I don't know the price on this exactly, but I know the link. If you use the link below, you get $10 off. I think it's Hoop10 is the code that you would put in. And right now, it's connected to my phone, and my phone's trying to connect to. So you come up, you got your GPS screen, then there's Spotify on my phone. And over here you can go to like the phone calls. So that's got some like my contact information. It's basically just your phone on a screen, which is pretty nice because then you can listen to radio and use navigation without having to have your phone right in your face. And then, like I said before, it also has, and like I said, I'm trying to still learning all the different controls, but here's my actual phone, and it's got all the apps and stuff that's available on it, and I'm sure you could probably pull up the calendar on it. Yeah, there's no events today. Like I said, it's basically your phone on the screen. So overall, I like the quality of the installation. It's pretty simple, straightforward. The only thing, like I said, is you're gonna have to take that antenna wire, make it a little bit longer by disconnecting it to the frame, the metal frame behind the radio, and pulling it over. And I'm not real excited about not being able to see the HVAC controls on the screen. I know on the factory one, it's just two little guys or whatever. It's pretty simple. I guess they don't have it on this, so there's really no way to know what mode you're in, if you're on the floor or the vents, or or a combination of the two, unless there is a setting somewhere for that. I just don't know where it's at, but I haven't found it. So other than that, I can't complain. It's a pretty nice setup. It's seamless. With these cars having the HVAC hooked into the radio, there's not a lot of options out there. There is some install kits where you can put the radio down here and get rid of that box, and you still have the factory stuff up here. The problem with that is you're looking downward more than the radio's down there. I did get the steering wheel controls hooked up. Well, you can do that if you want. So anyway, other than that, I like it, and I'll leave all the links down below for the radio and for whatever they give me for it. Like I said, this is their 23rd anniversary, so they've been around a long time. And there we go. She's getting ready to type in an address for the GPS. It takes a few seconds to hook to your phone, but it's pretty quick. And you can see here, which is kind of nice, you can tap on the actual screen and put in search, and it comes up with a keyboard on the actual radio instead of having to put it in, use your phone to use the keyboard, which is nice. So anyway, that's about it on this one. I think it's a pretty good product. It makes the car look a lot. It updates the car. You know, look, these cars are getting older now. This is an 07. It's only got 130,000 on it. It's good shape, but it really updates the interior on it, and the screen is really impressive how big it is compared to like a regular double din radio. And it works real seamless with the Android. I'm sure it's the same with the iPhone, but this is, like I said, we have Android, so it's working really well with that. So anyway, I would give it a pretty good review on it. And that's about it for this one. Thanks for watching, and God bless. Just want to add a little note here towards the end of the video. I've been driving around most of the night, and I noticed on the HVAC controls, they're not lit up. The buttons light up if you press the button, but if you don't know, if you don't have the buttons memorized, you wouldn't know what button to press. So the actual buttons itself are not lit up unless you press them. So you have to hit your overhead light to kind of see what is what on here. So that's kind of a thing that would be a nice change if they make an update to it, would be to have this lit up so you don't have to turn on the overhead light to see it. So like right now I got the rear defrost and the dual mode on, and those two are lit up. So that's something to think about too if you do a lot of night driving, or if something that just something to think about. It's going to be kind of a little bit of irritation unless you memorize that board or whatever. So anyway, I just wanted to add that. I didn't know that when I finished the video out, but this is something I noticed tonight while driving. So again, thanks for watching.